So we are going to open the meeting for the public hearing in order to hear about ordinance 548 to amend the City of Newcastle Municipal Code. And actually, I'm going to turn that over to Chris and he can explain what the amendment is and why.
This was this is a proposed revision to the zoning ordinance requested by council to address situation or a situation similar to the subdivision that occurred at the Battery, where that large parcel was created behind the apartment parcel that was pretty much dominated by wetlands and did not have any road frontage onto a public roadway. So council requested that the city solicitor draft a zoning ordinance to prevent that situation from happening again. So this ordinance generally does two things. It requires new lots to have minimal road frontage on public streets, except in the general commercial district where the road frontage can be on a private street. That's because you know, a lot of subdivisions in the commercial situation will have private roads, private parking lots. So the required frontage in the GC is not on a public street. Mm-hmm. And secondly, this ordinance requires no more than 80% of a lot area to consist of wetlands, whether they be tidal or non-tidal. So that's it in a nutshell. In speaking with the solicitor, you know, this could have had ripple effects with other parts of the ordinance, but we just tried to keep it simple and try to keep it succinct to what the council was requesting. So that's what this does.
So there's no requirement right now about the maximum wetlands on a lot, is that?
Correct.
No, nor is there a frontage requirement. I went through the whole municipal code. There's nothing in there. The code is completely silent on these two topics. Correct me if I'm wrong, Chris.
So they're not amending anything, they're creating requirements.
Clarifying, there was some debate. The definition of lot had the word frontage in it. You'll see the strikeout on the second page. Mm-hmm. If you look at that paragraph under section 2 that's being amended, that's last sentence that's struck out. Such lot shall have a frontage on an improved public street. We're not big fans of having the requirements buried in definitions, and we didn't think that was enough to require that lot at the Battery that was being proposed to have frontage. So we extracted that statement that's in the definition of lot and made it an explicit requirement in the table and in other sections, in another section of the ordinance.
So just for my clarification, so this came about because of the wetlands behind the garrison or the wetlands over in Battery Park?
Oh, I'm sorry. I said the Battery. The Battery is a proposed 152 apartment unit complex that has received site plan approval from the planning commission. Okay. And as part of the plan, they created a large lot behind where they are proposing the apartments. And the only purpose for creating that large lot, which is 90% wetlands, was for financing reasons. That no bank was going to have an owner carry a parcel that had a ton of wetlands on it. So the apartment units were on one lot and they subdivided off the rest of the parcel to get rid of all of the wetlands. So when whoever develops that apartment lot is the bank doesn't see a lot of wetlands on it. That's the
Yeah,
way.
but they were deeded to the county or the state, right?
No,
They were looking for somebody to.
They're looking for
No, that's where we ended up with that orphan lot.
So, I mean, so this is a public hearing. Because the council is proposing to revise the zoning ordinance. Per the zoning ordinance, all amendments to the ordinance first have to be reviewed by the planning commission. Your role this evening is to make a recommendation to the city council regarding this ordinance. The purpose of this public hearing is to obtain public comment.
Well, we're allowed to comment too, aren't we?
I would save it for the discussion, as long as you're satisfied with the purpose and the meaning of the ordinance. I think that would be good for the hearing. As far as debating its merits or talking about the
That
battery,
would happen during our
Yeah.
commission meeting.
there should be an agenda item.
It's in
There is,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so that's when we can come in. Okay,
I will wait. I have a lot to say.
I have questions, so I'll wait. Stephen, the battery is going to be located next to the garrison.
Good, that's all, I was just trying to. think where-
Now you, yeah, so to the, I think it's to the left of the garrison.
Do you know where the liquor store is down there?
Yes.
It's that property.
Yeah.
Oh.
And it has a very narrow frontage, but it goes back and it's quite
Okay,
large.
yeah.
Yeah,
Just to give you an idea of the area that brought this about.
Okay,
so
So-
will this affect that development? So it's all grandfathered, that development, okay.
And I should have mentioned that the garrison did the same thing.
Oh, they did?
Yeah. There is a orphan wetland parcel behind the garrison that was created.
So nobody owns that. Or-
No, I mean, somebody always owns it.
But didn't
It's
they end
it's
up,
still owned by the owners of the garrison.
but as a separate LLC or something?
Probably, it's just not part of that lot that they financed.
The concern being. Not so much from a sensitive areas, natural resource protection standpoint, but the council is concerned that parcels like that will not be maintained properly. They're gonna be hard to get to. Emergency Phragmites has a tendency to catch on fire. If it doesn't have any frontage on a public street. So there's a couple factors that went into the thinking to create this ordinance, or the reasoning behind this ordinance, I should say.
How much frontage does the battery have right now? It's at least 25 feet, isn't it?
You mean the apartment
The
parcel
apartment.
itself?
Yeah.
Oh, gosh, I don't know. That essentially the width of that sea of parking, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, that's pretty big.
Yeah.
it should,
Yeah.
yeah, that's pretty.
But the parcel in the back that they create, the lot that they created in the back.
You couldn't reach, I mean,
No, well,
didn't have any
they
frontage.
were required to create a road in their plan and they did.
yes,
Yes.
yeah, but we required that, otherwise they would have just.
Well, that's why we're here, but,
Exactly.
you know, well, I'll save it for, you know, the.
I guess. We can end the public hearing, so you tell me, don't have anybody
Don't we
else?
have to keep it open for the whole 15 minutes? Since that's the announced time, and we don't have a lawyer here, but that's my understanding, is that we can't
We can do that.
proceed, not that I want to.
Yeah, we can't start the next meeting till 7. I think we could end this because nobody's here.
Someone could
It's only-
come,
Huh?
someone could come.
Oh, that's true. It's only 1 more minute.
For real, when I ask this question, what is Donald Trump's?
Don't put that in the minutes.
That public person is not recognized here.
Ah,
They give their name and address.
You have to show up in person.
ah.
Do I have a motion to adjourn the public hearing?
No, we.
With a second?
Yeah.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, so this stands adjourned.